Hello friends, there is a huge chatter going on about ChatGPT and its capabilities. And you must have already heard about how AI and ChatGPT like models with their artificial intelligence abilities are able to perform so many tasks which so far were considered only available to human mind. And there are many professions like language translators, writers, graphic designers, logo designers, and even software engineers who are kind of feeling the heat now and feeling threatened that some or part of their job functions could be easily replaced by ChatGPT like AI. So now the question is, can ChatGPT right now replace astrologers? And could ChatGPT right now or in near future give you as reliable answer as a very seasoned, experienced and a true astrologer can? To really find answer of this question, we need to understand what ChatGPT is and what it is capable of doing. And in this video, in a quick layman terms, we will try to find the definite answer about whether ChatGPT can actually replace astrologers right now. So let's first quickly see what is a ChatGPT. And before it became ChatGPT, it was only GPT, which actually stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's a kind of AI software which has ability to learn by itself. But when this GPT was first being created, what was the goal or the fundamental problem which this GPT was supposed to solve? And the fundamental goal with GPT 1, GPT 2 and up to GPT 3 was to be able to predict next word given a string of word. Meaning if you give this GPT software a set of word, a string of word, then it should be able to predict what the next word of that string should be. And that was the only singular aim with which GPT was being developed. So let's take an example. If we give, say, a word this, then GPT was supposed to predict what will be the next word or next word after this will be. And how does it do? It accomplishes this task because during its training time, this AI software was fed with millions of articles which are freely available over internet. And GPT sort of learned from that input. So in layman's term, what it basically did was technically what is called as embeddings. Embeddings are nothing, but we can say that, say given a word, say this. After this word this, during the reading of all those millions of words or millions of articles, how many different letters or different words did this software encountered after this? Suppose is red, blue, big, all these are different possible words which can come after this. And GPT remembered the probability of all of these words, which are known as embedding. So suppose the probability of is was 0.0001, A was 0.01, and similarly all the probability numbers are remembered as embedding. So when you give it one particular word or set of words, it goes into this embeddings table, try to find out what may be the best possible word after this. And in this case, suppose it comes back, say, with is. Now, the same process will be repeated. This time, it will look for two things. One, what is the most likely word after is, and what is the most likely word after this is. And suppose again, based on the embeddings, it comes up with A. Now, the same process will be repeated with this and the whole three words together. Suppose it comes back with, say, big. And then again the same process will be repeated. And suppose it, say, comes back with box. And it completes the sentences, this is a big box. So fundamentally, predicting the next possible word in a sentence or group of sentence was the only capability with GPT up to 1, 2, 3. Now what happened with GPT 3.5 and 4? So with GPT 3.4 and 5, the new thing which happened was ability to follow instructions. So when in a model up to GPT-3, when they found that the ability to predict next word is phenomenal, is fantastic, but it was always lacking in following instructions. Suppose in GPT-3, we tell the model to, say, write 10 sentences about a horse. Then it used to get confused because it was not trained to follow any kind of instructions. So what they did in 3.5 and 4 was basically not just fed the whole articles, but they fed instructions and its response. So what they did was they basically had a set of writers and gave them random instructions, just like this: write 10 sentences about horse, write essay about Antarctica, and so on. And what they purposefully did was they did a lot of good responses, but they also made a lot of bad response, and they trained the model to understand what is a good response and what is a bad response, and it developed the ability to distinguish by reading through all these good and bad responses and by what is called as reinforcement learning as to how to respond properly to instructions. And in model 3.5 and 3.4, this following instructions capability was converted into a conversational ability so that you can talk to that AI model, and thus it becomes ChatGPT. So now we know the abilities of GPT or ChatGPT. Now the question again comes, so can it now replace astrologers? So as of right now, ChatGPT has read through and learned most of the articles about astrology which are freely available over internet. So if you ask ChatGPT a question about something which you can find by doing Google search, then it will be able to give you the answer, simply because it has read through all those articles, and obviously it has an excellent memory, and now also a conversational ability, meaning it can piece together sentences very well. But when it comes to predictive nature of astrology, that is dependent on a lot of rules, and ChatGPT or any GPT model actually right now is devoid of any kind of rules. It is, in a very simple or layman's language, it's pretty much like a rote learning right now. So it definitely does not have the predictive abilities. Secondly, any article which is, say, publicly available right now, those articles which are on internet, that ChatGPT has read through and learned. But most of the astrology knowledge in India is passed on from one generation to next generation as an apprentice. People are taught the knowledge of astrology not through publicly available books, but through apprenticeship, and that knowledge is not available with ChatGPT right now. So currently ChatGPT is good for conversation about astrology, but it definitely does not have the actual predictive abilities, neither it even has access to the true knowledge which is passed on as a Guru Shishya Parampara. So as of right now at least, ChatGPT cannot replace astrologers in terms of predictive abilities. But could one day be there when an AI astrologer can replace or be able to predict like an astrologer? I will talk about that possibility and how that can be achieved in the next video. Thanks for watching, and to know more, check the links below.